Welcome to the Topgun channel, where you are about to enter the danger zone of all food, drink, and other assorted reviews. And today, everyone, I am here with Steve at Freebridge, and he's going to give you guys a definition and also a rundown of how he decided to bring the company into this small historic town of the Dalles, Oregon.
Go. Hey, welcome. I'm Steve. My wife Lori and I own Freebridge Brewing. We are the first brewery to open in beautiful the Dalles, Oregon in more than 100 years. We offer a variety of different types of craft beers, as well as we have a full-service pub specializing in pizza, sandwiches, and soups and salads. Probably the biggest reason that my wife and I decided that we wanted to open up Freebridge Brewing in the Dalles was not only is she 4 or 5 generations here in this community of wheat farmers, but we also saw this need. We were finding ourselves continually driving to Hood River and other places for craft beer and food, and we just decided that this town was ready for its own. So we started putting our thoughts on paper and developed a business plan that took nearly 2 years to vet. With cooperation from the city and the government, we were able to locate this incredible historical building, which, by the way, was at one time commissioned by Abraham Lincoln as a Department of Treasury U.S. Mint, although never had a flake of gold or silver brought into it. It has a historic significance here in our community. The pub is located up in the original Mint location, and the brewery is in an annex location adjacent to it, but attached. It was built in 1953. So the building has been completely preserved. It's a very inspirational place to hang out. It's warm, it's comfortable and inviting. And we sure appreciate the community that we have that has gotten behind our project. In fact, last night we just celebrated our second anniversary here in the Dalles with an absolutely phenomenal outcome. The community support has been tremendous, and we feel really fortunate to be here.
And after you guys moved into the Dalles, I read I think I read your bio, that you used to be a guided fly fisherman? Is that what that was?
So that is my previous life. I spent 20 years as a fly fishing guide on the Deschutes and the John Day and a variety of other different both private waters and selected streams in the Bend area. In fact, that's where my wife and I met, was in Bend. We raised kids down there, lived in the Bend area for 24 years before moving up here. We've been living in the Dalles full time for the last 8 years, but I have a lot of fond memories of coming up here with my wife and kids and visiting the family on the farm, and we just kind of fell in love with how beautiful the area is, how incredible the weather is all year long. You know, to have a 60-degree day on the 2nd of February with bluebird skies is pretty unusual for most parts of the state, but not unusual for here in the Dalles. And I think that's what makes this town so appealing for tourists to come here. Once I decided to kind of hang up my waders, so to speak, and after 20 years of rowing a drift boat, I thought it was time to kind of move on. And therein lies the move from Bend to come up here to the Dalles and to start seeking out a new chapter in our life. And we feel really fortunate that we've done what we've done here. And it's been a struggle. Anybody who's ever opened up a small business definitely understands that, you know, the first couple of years are really what kind of sets the pace and really challenges the owner on a variety of different levels. We have an incredible staff of support here and some great friends and resources that we were able to tap into, which has gotten us to this point where we are today.
Nice. So you want to do like a little bit of a, I don't know,
walking tour of
yeah, if you wanted to do like a little bit of a walking tour of the place.
So So this is basically where beer gets made. It hasn't changed in thousands of years. It's exactly the same process. Has it become more automated? Absolutely. All of our equipment is made of U.S. grade stainless steel, made all right here in Oregon, and we're very proud of that fact. Beer essentially starts out as a bag of malted grain that is milled or cracked down to expose the starches that we are going to convert into sugars through the brewing process. Once we've made the actual beer itself, which is essentially a sweet wort is what it's called, with all the available sugars, we send it up to these big tanks here, which are fermenting vessels. In these fermenting vessels, we pitch yeast on the cooled wort that comes up here, and over an amount of days, mostly, it can take up to a week or weeks, the available sugars that are found in that sweet wort start transferring or transforming into beer through a metabolic process that the yeast consume, essentially the sugar, and they convert that into ethyl alcohol, and they off-gas CO2. So it's a very organic product, and it's a lot of fun to make. And it takes usually for ales a couple of weeks to make an ale, and a lager it takes 4 to 5 or even 6 weeks to produce a nice clean lager. And we brew both styles of beers. Now once the beer is made here after a couple of weeks, behind you over here is where basically we keep the beer. These are in kegs. And we've got a couple of different sizes of kegs, plus we've got some disposable kegs as well to go out into the market. But the production of beer is pretty straightforward. And I got my beginning as a home brewer for a number of years, and then got an education through Oregon State University, so I understood more about management of a brewery and in managing your beer and running a pub. So I definitely came into this with my eyes open, but I also surrounded myself with a team of individuals who were real professionals at this to help me kind of get it figured out.
Nice.
And then let's go up to the pub. By Abraham Lincoln. So this building was, construction began in the late 1800s. And what you see in here, all of the stone and the brick that the building was completely constructed of was all made right here in the Dalles. Bricks were fired down at the port, and stone was milled out in Mill Creek, I believe, at the Sandoz quarry. The bar is completely outfitted. It's nice and comfortable. It's got nice warm colors. Hello, Audrey. And we have a couple of unique features here. One is we have a board called the Beer It Forward, which is a lot of fun. So you can come in and buy your buddy a beer, and let him know that it's down here, and he comes down. Typically, he drinks a beer, and then he buys you a beer. So it's this great part of the community back and forth. Our menu, we specialize in pizza. We hand toss all of our crust. We make everything in-house that we can, and if we can't, we use and buy local, which is fantastic, especially coming from an area like the Dalles, where we are very agricultural centric. We have lots of ranches out here, so we've got access to a lot of great things that are just grown right here in the Gorge community. And I think that that's what sets us aside from a lot of our competitors. There's no doubt that you can get good beer and good food at a variety of venues, not just here in the Dalles, but outside of our area as well. So what we have to try to do here is create an environment that keeps you wanting to come back. And we feel our customer service is exemplary, our food is outstanding, we're always looking to improve it, and the same with our beer as well. So we like getting feedback from our customers and getting an idea of what you all like to drink. And then we try to fashion recipes around those parameters. We have an event every Monday called Experimental Monday, where we take maybe an existing beer that we have and we infuse some sort of a new flavor to it. It could be an herb, it could be teas, it could be flowers, just to create sort of a new flavor profile of maybe a beer that we've had for quite some time. We also brew small batch beer, so I've taken my home homebrew beer system, brought it down here, and we make just small 1 keg batches. So we get to get very creative, which is really fun about brewing itself. It's this incredible amalgamation of art and science. And the art side of it is really fun, and it's the part that we enjoy the most. So look to see every Monday we'll have some new beer up on the board for you to try out. And we kind of look at this as our own little lab for experimenting with beer.
Everybody can come down, try them out.
We're open 7 days a week. Doors open 11:30. We serve lunch and dinner. Typically close sometime between 9 and 10 most nights.
And if somebody was, let's say, traveling through this town, how would they be able to find your location? I mean, is there different ways to look for it?
Yeah, we have a highway sign that will direct you to our building. It's about a half a mile off I-84, exit 85. We also are on Yelp, Google Maps, and we have a Facebook page that also has a map of how to get to our location. And you can always reach out to us by email, or you can give us a holler on our phone, and we'd be happy to direct you here.
Nice. So you guys didn't have to really change anything when you came into this portion of the building? I mean, was most of it just
most
still
of
the
this
same?
was already done. The previous business that was in here was a winery, and they had developed the tasting room as you see it today, and we just kind of put our little final touches on it so that it has sort of our personality. But we were really fortunate when we came into this building that we had a production floor that was about 70% ready to receive equipment, and we had a tasting room that was 100% ready for us to move in.
Yeah, it's definitely a great setup. How you really didn't have to do much with this at all. I mean,
no, not at all. Yeah, which this can be very expensive to develop a tasting room. And what we found out is, it's really difficult as a startup business to have just a brewery. You really have to have the pub to go along with it for a number of different reasons. One is that it gets, your beer that you're producing out on the production floor into the market. Again, like I mentioned before, it allows us to kind of test our beers out. And certainly we have some distribution outside of the Dalles. That's why we have all of those kegs. So we've got distributor in Washington, and I distribute here in Oregon. So you can find our beer at a number of different locations throughout the Southwest Washington and I would say like North Central Oregon, especially here in the Gorge. But the pub is a critical element to that success of the brewery.
Nice. So is there any other additional information that you want to let them know about before we sign out, or?
We are going to be developing some outside seating, so look forward to that this summer. We are dog friendly, we're kid friendly as well, and we are mother-in-law friendly as well. You can bring your whole family down here. That's one part of our business plan that we wanted to maintain, was that we wanted to be a place where you can bring your friends and family down and sit and have good food and good drinks and have conversation. And we hope that that continues.
Nice. Well, there you guys go. This is Steve at Freebridge, just giving you guys a rundown of the establishment, and come definitely check it out. It's a great place to socialize with family and hang out and have even fun, just hanging out with your buddies and stuff. So thank you Steve for the interview, and yeah, like I said, guys, come check them out. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and until next time, everyone, fuel the jets so we can kick the tires and light the fires, because I feel the need for speed. #LoveThyNeighbor.